Okay, again, I suppose like everyone else, thanks for the opportunity to kind of give you a little bit of an insight into what I do with the team. So maybe I'll just have a quick show of hands. Does anyone have an idea what an analyst does? Performance analyst, do they feel like? Thanks, Darren. Anyone got an idea? Or anyone heard of the performance analyst, maybe in other sports, or what they do, how they work? No? Okay, well maybe hopefully the next 20 minutes will give you an insight. Okay, so it's a coaching tool. So straight off, it's something that's developed. There's nothing new in a lot of elements, but a lot of the use and the integration of video technologies, different things like that, has really helped with the advancement of that. Just a definition here, this is one that's come most from team sports, but it's the process of recording, processing, interpreting events, either tactical or technical. So it can be a massive range of different interpretations within any given sport. So it's an application in every sport. What you find is as the competitive level of the athlete increases, so does the demand for information and for data. And that's really where the analyst comes in. So a lot of the things and the elements within this you might be doing within your own, within coaching at your own club level. But it's as the boxer moves through, begins to compete internationally, there's a demand for a little bit more information, and that's where the analyst fits in. Okay, I'm going to start with I'm going to show you a video here. I don't know how many of it takes a lot to take a Russian down. I'm sure a lot of people here understand that. But the break of a pole did it for this guy. So the video here carries a lot of information. Did anyone know where the guy was from? Pretty obvious. His competition number? Anyone recognize that? Shout if you saw it. No? Did no one see? Number 930. Where was the competition taking place? Anyone know? No? It's a shy group here. Where was he ranked coming into that competition? Or into that jump? What height was he jumping at? 575, yeah. Just as he was about to begin his jump, there was another athlete over his left shoulder. His left shoulder. Where was that athlete from? Poland, yeah. So video carries a lot of different pieces of information, and very often when we look at a video, we need to know what we're looking for. And there's lots of pieces that will be there that we could miss because we're not looking. So hence the role of the analyst that works with the coach to identify what you're looking for, and we're picking out that information as we go. Now that's a little bit of an unfair example because I didn't give you the questions in the first place. And as a coach, you're going in and you're looking at a performance and you know what you're looking for. But this video carries lots of information that sometimes can be missed. Okay, so the key functions, and I'm not going to dwell on this a little too much in the interest of saving time, but it's relatively well recognized in research that coaches and athletes as well don't always remember exactly what happened. They've got their own interpretation of what happened, and sometimes that's biased by their own view of the athlete, of the performance. So if we're going to be using this data and this information on training sessions to implement changes and plans, then we need to make sure that it's built from a solid foundation, that we're 95% correct in what we're trying to, in our interpretation of that event. So, about my little disclaimer here, which is important in a room of boxing coaches, is that as the coach's ability and experience increases, their ability to recall increases as well. So, to give the kind of the 4 key pieces that PA can implement in it is that permanent record of performance. Permanent record. Accurate, reliable, objective, important as well. And we track changes and compare performances. So, if we want to develop an understanding of the performance that informs decision making, and 3 words I like to use is this idea of making performance measurable. That's really what I consider the key role of the analyst, not just in the team that I work with here, but some of the other sports that I work with. Okay, so how is it currently used? What are my responsibilities? Maintain a about catalogue of, we have two drives, which the coach carries with them to international competition, which I have as well, that has every footage from every major competition since the World Championships in Chicago in 2007. So it's anywhere, I haven't counted recently, but it must be 6,000-7,000 bouts from 2007. So it's 4 major World Championships, it's two Olympic Games, it's European Championships, it's the GB tournament in Finland, it's the Stranja tournament, it's Ahmet Comet in Turkey. It's a massive array of footage down to women's boxing, youths and juniors. So every time that the team goes away, if I'm either there, then the camera goes. The camera comes back to me and I update this catalogue. So the post-competition debrief, I'm going to talk about a little bit about how that is structured, what we look at, how it functions. The specific competition support as well is also, so at major competitions we keep that catalogue fresh. As you're well aware, anyone's been to international competition, you could have 5 guys on, you finish 11 o'clock at night, you're up for a weigh-in at 7 the next morning, and then you're back on the bus at 12 o'clock. So it's a lot for the coach to be taking this footage, organising it, updating the catalogue, making sure that you're reviewing the catalogue and looking at opponents. So a lot of that role falls on myself at major international competitions. Monitoring the scoring patterns at internationals, so I'm going to show you a little bit of information from the Baku Games this summer, and also motivational videos. So you can imagine if we're work with psychologists and pull together, so everyone's got kind of key words that they use as they prepare for contests. If you can bring that down, distill that into 3 or 4 minutes, the boxer will watch that maybe a few times in the lead up to a contest to help them focus and help make sure that they're not being distracted by the glare of competition. So key principles. A system is built on principles, and that's really important. That basic one, continual performance improvement. We're always looking to improve. You'll take even Michael Conlan, current world champion. He's going to have 3 or 4 key things that he's going to work on over the next 6, 7, 8 months. So everyone's got little pieces to work on. The coach is key, as I said, as a coaching tool. They drive that input. As systematic, we do it after every competition and have done since about probably 2008, late 07, early 08. So this is an expected, when the senior boxers go away, that they come back, they sit down and watch the contest. And I'll go through the format of how that works. So the tools, it allows us to ask better questions. That's the real important piece. And it complements the coach's intuitive knowledge. The coach is going to have Zor, John, Eddie they've forgotten more in boxing than I'll ever know. And it's important that I understand that. So what I'm trying to do is to inform and give them an extra piece of information about bouts, maybe make me think a little bit differently about contests. And then the post-competition debrief, we're looking for boxer engagement all the time. This helps to sharpen our focus and make sure that they know what they're working on over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks in the lead up to the next competition. So the bout catalogue is an important piece. I'm just going to show you how that works. So, as you can see, a series of different competitions that we've got. This is the most current one. I've also got another drive which has got more of the historical and older competitions. So if I take, for example, so Michael Condon, for example. This is all of his contests from, I think, from London. So take any one of those. So the recent world final. Will open. So the coach has this when they're away at competition, and they can access it as they want, and particularly important for opponents. So Michael against the Uzbek. And also if we look at our opponents, so if we take, for example, guys we'll have most footage on is a Russian, Evgeny Tishenko, probably one of the guys who've been, Darren will know him well. So let's say, for example, if we wanted to look at his contest, or Zor or Darren are looking to or think about their tactics for a major competition, well then we've got all these easy. So actually that's the final against Russo in the previous World Championship. That was in Baku. No, Almaty 2013. Okay, so all that's at our fingertips. But as you can see here, this has got to be updated. So every single file bout has to be named, and we have a structure to do that. So we take the weight, the red corner, so surname, first name, country, red corner, blue corner. We look at the round of the competition, so the round in the competition itself, and the date. So all of that, we can't just throw it all into a folder and not know. So we want to do this nice and easy. So every single file here has got to be named. So the last World Championships, I think there was 290, maybe 300 bouts. Every single one's got to go through and be named. So it's a process that you continue to build on, and as it grows, it's a really, really important resource. And I don't think there's many other countries in the world that would have something as comprehensive as us. Maybe the GB team, because they have 2 full-time analysts doing what I'm doing and go to every single competition. But it's an important element of what we do. Okay, so that's the. Okay, catalogue. Right, the round score analysis. So we're looking at the patterns of scores at major and international competitions, and everything we try to do is driven from questions. So in this next couple of slides, I'm just going to answer the first question. So how many boxers win the first round and go on to win the bout? We examine patterns and trends from the European Games. So anyone got any idea? Hazard a guess. 84, 85, yeah. Anyone else? 90%. 90, yeah. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Yeah, okay. So this is from the Baku, from the European Championship. So we can see your 80 is bang on, and it's always been in and around that. Even we've collected this information right through from Beijing. So as the scoring system changed, this hasn't changed either. Not that much. We're always looking in around the high 70s to the low, high 70s, low 80s. But if we're looking across weights, so we look at super heavy, 60%. But then we look at 69, and we've got 90. In the European Championships from Belarus, would have been the year before last, 100%. Every single boxer who won the first, at 49 kilos, who won the first round went on to win the contest. Okay? So what we look like, so there's a ranges across weights, and we're monitoring and tracking these ranges and seeing if there's certain patterns within it. If we look at women's, so the women's contest, it's even higher. If you look at 56 kilos, there was only one other. So they're either winning on points, or else some of the contests are stopped for whatever reasons. So there's not so much of that in women's boxing with the head guards, presumably. There's less contests aren't stopped for cuts or whatever. So we're looking at monitoring these patterns and trends and seeing how it is. So we can say, like, you can take anecdotal evidence to say, oh, it's quite significant, I know it's important. But when you back that up with the numbers behind it and monitoring these trends, it's an important part of what we do as well. Okay, so the post-competition debrief, and it's going to go through a little bit of an overview of how that works. The format is that after every international competition, the coach picks pick one contest which they want to look through. Sometimes we might look at 2, 3, but it takes about 2 to 3 hours to go through the contest in the depth that we look at it. So with a relatively short turnaround between competition and feedback, we only tend to look at one. So the coach picks the contests, we sit down, we watch it, we have a video. The coach will pick out the technical pieces that are important. So something they could have done differently within any given contest. Then we introduce the analysis and the numbers behind it, and they leave the room with 2 or 3 key pieces to work on. And the coach brings that onto the floor. But sometimes those pieces aren't always tactical. Some of them could be nutrition, possibly how they made weight, how they felt, maybe they were a little bit nervous going into the contest. So that might be psych to look at. And there might be other elements that they didn't do optimally. Typically, as the boxers get more experienced, the making weight, the psych prep, that sort of stuff, they have a good solid routine at that. So it is more tactical. But for the newer guys onto the program, it can be an array of different inputs. So this is our one-pager. I'll go through each of these little pieces. So the idea is being really, what we're trying to do is tell a story of the contest. So I'll go through each of these pieces here. So what we have, everything is broken into 1 minute segments. So we look at feints, punches thrown, the land or the outcome of those, they're either sort of land, missed or blocked. From that we can work out an accuracy. And what we found typically, we set as a benchmark 20% of punches to be accurate. So if we're looking at this, I look at the last minute in the second round and ask, well, why is that only 11%? Was there something they did that resulted in it being a little bit lower? The average here overall, the average in each round is pretty good. The first 2 rounds are good. The last one, probably not quite as optimal as it could be. So we can take this sort of information and identify certain areas within any given contest. We look then at the punch type thrown. So what you'll find is, does anyone think total punches 319? Does that seem like high to anyone? No? Typically that would be quite high. That's a high volume and low feinter, but it depends on the tactics and the style of the boxer, the tactics used, but that would be typically pretty high. What you're looking for, of course, is typically feints are the predominant, your jab is the predominant, and it is. It's probably about 45 to 50% of the punches are jabs. So we can monitor these and assess them over time throughout the season. We look here at the number of punches. So this is the looking over the 9 minutes, and we saw for jab, for example, 55 were blocked, 1 landed body, 6 to the head, 93 missed. So it's an accuracy of only 7%, which isn't very good. We'd be looking for more than that. So we can really be specific in the sort of feedback that we can provide. Again, if you want to improve your jab, well then we can monitor that progress and make sure that it does continue to improve. So we're not just kind of identifying the areas that we want to improve, but we're also monitoring and make sure we do. We put the onus back on the boxer because they've got to continuously improve. They can't keep going to competitions and maybe not taking it as seriously as they should. These are full-time athletes and full-time boxers. They need to be making improvements in whatever way they do. Of course, we're there to support them to do that, but they've got to continually improve because the world is continually improving. And if we don't do it, we get left behind. What we look at here, actually interesting, so a total landed of 42, and conceded 20. Okay, so what we've got as well, we're trying to move away from the idea of using numbers. So what we've got here is as we go back, I'll show you on the bottom right-hand corner, what we've got here is the puncher scored over the 3 rounds and conceded over the 3 rounds. And that information is displayed like so. So everything, we've got our line in the middle, everything above the line is a head punch, below the line body. Left of center is, the left quarter is left hand, and the other one obviously right hand. So you can see intuitively the different punch types. If we look at that, for a 5-rounder, so a WSB contest recently, you can see the predominant punches are scored from the left hand. Jab to the head, and jab backhand to the body. All right. Now, if we start to look at this over each round and look at patterns and trends within it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can start to see trends over time. Now, there's probably not a lot in this one. Again, the value of looking at one contest, the value you've got to look at this over time, over 3, 4, 5, 6 different contests, and against different opponents, different tactics, different styles. But can anyone see what maybe happens in the 4th round here? No? Yeah, well, but what happened really was that the boxers they changed tactics and moved to a closer distance, so they're scoring a greater array of different punches. Yeah, because they're all we can start to look at these trends and what these in theory do is tell a story of the contest. Okay, so to put it from your perspective, there's so much happening over that 9 minutes. It really is. So we're looking at whether it's your stance, and even some who change it, the best do. The type of fighter, so tempo or aggressive, the 6 types. Now this would be Zora's thinking on it, so I've learned a lot of my understanding from him. We look at, so the variables that the coach is looking for as the contest continues. What distance are we competing at, boxing at? What distance are you most successful at? And that's what we're starting to look at, identifying the phase by phase of each individual contest, and that's our kind of next. We have a tool that we'll be looking to unfold in the next few weeks that will be able to examine that sort of detail. How do you prepare an attack? what's your principal type of defence? Now, what we've principally used is we're looking at an attacking profile. We're looking at what it takes to win, as opposed to defence. So we were starting to understand a little bit more around the defence and look and examine that, but that's a little bit of the way the system was set up originally when I started with the squad back in 07, 08. What's their intensity? We're looking to develop a measure of work rate. So if we can have a measure of work rate, we can set certain thresholds and say you need to be above this figure, and start to identify, well, maybe if you've got a high work rate and high accuracy, you win more contests. Well, if you do that, then let's try to do it more often. Do you use your opportunities? Now, this is an important piece that the coaches will be looking at as they're watching a contest. Is there an opening? Did they take it? So that's an important element within the debrief. The coaches are looking for this sort of idea. Tactics were employed. So why I'm kind of throwing all this out there is that not everything is easily measured, and I'm very conscious of that. But we measure what we try to, what we can, and what we can do it accurately, reliably, and consistently. That's a really important piece. If we can't do that, then we don't, because unless you've got a consistency in your measurement, then you don't know that the changes in that number, whatever it is because of what the boxer did. It could just be a measurement error. So it's important we need to be conscious of that. Okay, so just take home messages. Video is your best friend. How many here would video all of the contests? Review it afterwards. Show of hands. Anyone do that? Consistently? Good. I see a few hands. That's good. A lot of the sort of technical work you could do on your phone. It's real easy. But I would encourage, if anyone's looking to take and record bouts during competition, buy a camcorder, name those bouts, and store them on a hard drive. It's a great catalogue and great for any club as well to have all these sort of historical database. So I'd encourage you to do that. It's the best. It's very easy. Some people will say, "Oh no, I didn't do that." In the video, there's no hiding. No hiding. It's the best medium for that performance review. You can start to add the analysis and the numbers afterwards, but start with the video. Win the first round. I suppose it's probably something you do, and the message you do. But then if you do win it, there's some hope that I think, and my understanding from the previous World Championships, I think there was more contests of boxers who lost the first and went on to win it. So that might be a little bit of a change in the scoring patterns and what the judges are looking for. So we're monitoring that change. We haven't gone through the previous World Championships just yet, but that's a project for the next few weeks. Never judge the performance solely on outcome. Presumably a lot of you don't. We can control output, but not outcome. So we monitor output. We can't control what the judges around the ring will do. We only control the output, and then that's how you can achieve your best. If you're happy with what you've delivered, and that's your best performance, the result will look after yourself. And systematically review. That's an important piece. Systematic. If it's good to do now, it's good to do in 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years' time. And that's I feel it's an important piece of what we do and how we do within the high performance and the senior boxers. Okay. Another element to what I do, I see how I am for time. Hopefully we have time for this bit. It's 3 minutes. Is that okay? We've got a good 3 minutes? Right, great. I'm just going to show you a video of this season, actually. Part of what I do sometimes is putting together these sort of compilations and reviews for not just the boxers, but also for the program. So this is this year in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I think.
year away. The Olympic Games.
Great. That's me. There's two things that stand out from that. Two things stand out. The whole piece about we prepare to perform when it matters most, and that's really important. When the pressure's at its highest, that's when you're ready to perform at your best. And the other piece is the Uzbek coaches when Michael's hand is raised. The disappointment on their face. That's why I put it in there. It really shows. I think they lost 3 finals while they were there, and they really are actually. The Cubans were the real shining light of the last World Championships, but the Uzbeks I think had 6 medalists but no gold, and that expression on their face just shows the trauma and the hardship of it. So thanks for listening. I'm going to be around for the next hour or so. If anyone got any specific questions, happy to take that, but we probably don't have the time for those now. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.